counterfactual. My name is Nathaniel Ray. It's a very kind of biblical name, that. Both my first and middle names are both very biblical. Obviously, Nathaniel is biblical in the sense that sort of only very orthodox, conservative Catholics name their children Nathaniel, because it's the best way to ensure that they never ever have sex ever. So, yeah. I do like to explain at this point that that is a joke, because no one laughed. But no, I'm kidding. I'm not really a virgin just because of my name. It's more because of my personality. Women hate me, and I am terrified of them. So this front row is very scary. But no, aside from not being a particularly cool name, it does actually come from the Bible, sort of character in the Bible, a biblical figure, and I guess my parents just kind of liked it for me, thought it suited me. And exactly the same thing is true of my middle name, is also a biblical figure that my parents thought suited me. And so when you put it all together, my full name is Nathaniel Beelzebub, Apostle of the Netherworld, which is, I'm not sure I was wanted, to be honest. I can say actually, like, for a fact, I can't really have been wanted. I sort of inherently must have been a mistake, because I'm a twin, but I was born second. So I've got a twin brother, and when he came out, it was very much a case of, aha, yes, here's the baby we were after, we can see this one, we were planning it the whole time, we definitely wanted this, here it is, good stuff. And then I kind of popped up alongside him as a little sort of bonus freebie that nobody originally wanted. I'm very much the human equivalent of one of those massive Sports Direct mugs. That and the fact that my father kept me in a cupboard. So there we go. I was talking to someone recently actually, and I mentioned I was a twin, and she said, "Are you identical?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Can I see a picture of him so I can sort of see like how similar you look?" And I said, "No, because I don't have a single picture of my brother in my phone at all." And she went, she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, if I put my foot in it, are you like estranged? Do you not get on, or what's going on there?" And I said, "No, not at all. I love my brother to death. He's like basically my best friend in the whole world. But why would I have a picture of him, you know? Because I really do love my brother, but not for his looks." And that would be, aside from anything else, narcissistic. So there you go. I don't have any of him. I don't actually have a single picture of like any of my friends or family in my phone at all, which sometimes people think is a bit weird. People tell me that's kind of odd, but I just don't. Like, my phone camera roll consists entirely and exclusively of pictures of my cats and videos of ex-West Ham manager David Moyes. It's all I got. It's all I need. But after I had this conversation with her, it kind of occurred to me that sort of, if, you know, God forbid something terrible were to happen to a member of my family, I wouldn't have any pictures on my phone to kind of look back on them, remember them by, whereas at any time I wanted, I could, for example, look back on the outrage that ensued that time after VAR overturned a last-minute West Ham winning goal against Aston Villa home last season. And that kind of upset me, actually. I genuinely did find that quite upsetting, because, you know, it wasn't a handball. I got fucking robbed, and I'm still furious about it. I've not got over it. One person. But things aren't going too well for me in life at the moment. I'm not doing so good. Not very good at writing segues, for example. But they're not, because so I'm a student at the moment. I'm studying in London. I'm doing film studies, which doesn't necessarily sound that bad, but it means that sort of the two main things I'm doing with my life at the moment are film studies and stand-up comedy, which is a real Venn diagram of just unemployment and never ever getting a job. But I'm a big film buff. I really love film, and when you're into film, people kind of often ask you like for your sort of top 3 favourite films, like, you know, give us your best films of all time. So I'll give you my top 3 films of all time. Why not? My list. So number 1 for me has got to be Groundhog Day, you know, from the 90s. Great comedy, lots of laughs, just really good fun. Number 2 for me has got to be Groundhog Day. Great comedy, lots of laughs, good fun. Thank you. Number 3 for me has got to be Schindler's List. I'm sure you know. From the 90s, great comedy, lots of laughs, really good fun. It's great. I'll finish on this, why not? Another film joke. I was watching a lot of Christmas films over the holidays. Did anyone watch Home Alone? Do you like Home Alone? Yeah, well, it's just a bit of a funny little story. So the front row laugh Home Alone, like, yes! We've actually got a job like that with the Home Alone experience. Nice. But yeah, Home Alone is good, but this is just a kind of funny little kind of light-hearted story to end on. But so you know all the kind of crazy, wacky stuff that happens to the kid in that film? Well, almost exactly the same thing actually happened to my sister, because she also grew up to become addicted to crack. Yeah, and then she got burgled by Joe Pesci. So that was a rough week for her, but she's doing better, I'm glad to say. She's out of rehab now, things are going good, which is fantastic news, because she's a wonderful 15-year-old, you know, she really is. And on that note, a terrible note to end on, but I'm going to do it. So,